collective energy reading. Please only take what resonates. Always leave the rest for the best. Don't stress. You could be looking at those cycles, connecting to your emotions, using your intuitions. You could be this high priestess, encompass these energies. You could have gone through that world and just had to know you're gone, and it's like that renewal. You have to get organized, steadfast, keep on moving forward, keep on staying balanced, continuously keep on growing. You could be doing that karma energy. Somebody could be looking at the reflecting now in revelations about the choices that they made throughout their life, the karmic cycles that they encompassed on. You're moving towards your abundance. Take this all as it resonates. Abundance is yours to claim. Be open to be able to receive that gift. So this is judgment. Judgment can be taking place. Take this all as it resonates. You could be in that Taurus energy. This could be like balance and unity in relationships, partnerships, money, stability, job, work, finances. Take it all as it resonates. Seek abundance. So you're on that path now, because that's tower moments. People having tower moments. You're getting higher awareness. You're looking and using these hidden skills, providing a service to the community, enabling them to have that high clarity of mind, maintaining that balance, being fair, making sure that you're inspiring others, and that nurturing, having discernment, sixth chakra, third eye activated and open. So you've got that all knowing, that's that having wisdom, that's understanding to be able to trust with inside of yourself, that higher source. That's you to be able to nurture and connect, and that's looking at your physical stability, security, those relationships, jobs, work life. Take this all as it resonates. That's Aries. That's when you're being courageous and you're in that Virgo energy. You're innocent, you're practical. You're providing a service for people to be able to seek knowledge, wisdom. Take this all as it resonates. Get higher clarity. It's that inspiration, spiritual inspiration. You could be looking at that content completeness. That's when you're getting those intuitions from the divine. You're using your imagination, moving with love. Venus and Taurus, that's like feminine energy. Could be your romance, your beauty. You've got this artistic flair. You could be working and earning money from that. You're going to find abundance in your life, and it's that key to have that inner peace, because certain people could be having a stress and don't turn back. You just walked forward. You see now people was two-faced. They could have had that aggressive anger energy and used that fire. You used yours to be able to transform and not destroy. And certain people had it with rage. They've got frustration now because they could be opening up about this heartache and this pain. And when people stabbed you in there, they're looking about the collaborations and those efforts about your goals and those seeds and who you're working with, because you surrendered to the divine, to that power that was greater than you, because you healed yourself to reveal yourself. People are healing now because they was two-faced, and that's you balancing that anger and that rage, because knowing that you are loved. Boundaries was put in place because you're able to see, you're remembering with that heartfelt love, and it's full of worry or even grief. Certain people had grief and it was emotions, even normal, looking back the past and the relationships and the people and the places, for you to get that balance, that high clarity of understanding of like emotional turmoil, when things are good, when things are bad, and it's all part of your healing. You need to be able to know that I am happy here. So you was happy, enabling yourself to grow, because you had to put these boundaries in place. Take this all as it resonates, because you had faith to be able to, as a grain of a mustard seed. So when you was planting those seeds about these pentacles, you shall say unto the mountains, remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove. Those people who was being aggressive, those family members and friends, and they was trying to be able to possess about money and block and stop. You had to be creative, use your intuitions. You see when certain people was being courageous and holding on, doing spell work, Scorpio energy, blocking you, so you wasn't able to use your intuitions, like you wasn't able to go towards those new beginnings and have that leap of faith. Take this all as it resonates. And that was 1/7/20, Matthew. So you can see you're seeking your balance, you're moving forward, because that's that comfort from which the Holy Spirit inside of you, your heart, those emotions, those feelings, your intuitions, when the Father will send in my name that message, that high clarity, that high awareness, he shall teach you all things. So looking at yourself, that hidden skills, you gaining structure, looking at those habits, and that's your security, that feminine energy and masculine, looking at that firm foundations when you're loyal, protecting, being creative, using your intuitions. 5, when people was being stubborn, for it, controlling, in that childlike spirit, you start speaking, you grow. When people causing you stress and conflict, you let go because you see about people in their ego. You look at your life force, see your purpose and your vitality. You gain balance. Their understanding about a feminine energy was dependent with, they was too stubborn in values, money, possessions, property. They was too busy trying to secure a property and money, and who they was working with, people blocking them about some assets, foundations, 2, 6. They can see you're practical, you're stable, you're nurturing, you're protective, you're caring, you're courageous. You're unable to continue to keep on moving forward because you're nurturing, nourishing, enabling people to be able to grow, transform from Pluto, from that underworld. Let go of things that don't serve you. That's you seeking that balance to be able to see, find that inner standing. This masculine is now gaining inner introspection. They're getting inner standing as to their actions and the way how they move because of their habits and their lifestyle. And that's this father figure. That could have been looking back to their roots now, their foundation. They could be looking back to like their past and their self, the way they acted and treated others because it was their personal finances and resources and what they was holding on to and who was securing the bag and who was not securing what bags, because that's when you have to look at Saturn returning about those home, your family, the private life and that purpose, how you hold yourself in public. Take this all as it resonates, because when you have to start looking back to like, that's what you're regenerating, who you're regenerating with, because when you're serving and you're relating to the things that you've got to be able to relate to, take this all as it resonates. That's love as I have loved you. So they're on that transformation now, they're at death and that regrowth, because that's connected to their heart, their emotions. Steadfast, you can see about these family members, friends, was being wise and they was being courageous in that low dense energy, having these extra energies. They didn't have compassion. Those family members and friends, they was holding on, clinging on to your partner because of the choices. They could have been working alongside your partner. Take it all as it resonates. They can see you, that high priestess, steadfast, organized. You got higher clarity. They're gaining higher clarity in regards towards you. They're having that death and that rebirth. They've seen your death and your rebirth. They can see you're in your feminine, masculine energies, your steadfast, your balance. They're looking at you. That could be an Aries, Gemini, and then you got Cancer. Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works and your glory, your Father which is in heaven. 5, that's when you're growing. People causing you stress and conflict, you let go, you be brave. You have to protect yourself. Go like Daniel in the lion's den. You go into hermit, gain that high clarity. Why, where, what, when. You look at your skills, get that inspiration. Who was competing against you? Your lover and the choices that they made. Family members and friends, take it all as it resonates. They're getting this higher clarity about teamwork. You're moving forward. You don't care. You just let go. You have to keep on standing with that strength, having balance. Listen to the spirit that got led, and you got led. You put that on your back and you kept on moving forward. Because what if you could send your problems away today? So you had to send them. You wrote a letter. You burnt it. You knew. You'd seen the actions. You gained clarity about what people did in the unknown. They could have been burning evidence, family and friends, because they could have been acting direct. They could have been doing things. You could be gaining insight. They could be burning evidence away about the things that they had hidden when they was trying to be able to call about this structure, about this property and the finances that they were signing and seeking. Take it all as it resonates. They could be burning evidence away. Relive that pressure. So they could be reliving that pressure now because they're having stress in their mind and they're getting clarity now in regards to their actions, what they did and who they were sharing with. They could have been around in the community, and in that community they could have met a feminine energy that they could have been given to. Take it all as it resonates. This could have been a father, the family, private life in that community. They could have had many children. And that's like guilt-free now because they was indulging in things, and you are lucky. So you're going to know that you was lucky. You was protected. You could have been like this lion. They could be feeling stressed. They've been in hospital. They're feeling blank. They're drained. They could be needing help. They're gaining higher clarity, introspection in regards to what people done. They just let them dry. Now they may need an hospital advice, because that's back to basics when you need to nurture yourself. They're malnourished now. They're needing that strength. because they let your light shine, and that's they giving that nurturing. They're looking back because they can see the pressure, and they didn't take that action. They didn't see the warning signs, because what if they could send up their problems away? Because they're having heartache now. They're feeling this heartbreak because they could have Three of Swords you. They could have took that action, extra energies with a masculine. They was in that fight and flight mode. They're looking now when they was valuing the choices. They was in that underworld for morning, partying, socialising. They're looking now because the people that dominated, and it was about a personal means. And when you're looking about people, it's about your money and the resources and the partnering, the choices that you made, and it's why you've got these legacies, and it's like best towards you, and it's also like money and assets, secrets, who's passed away, and that's symbolic to like that transformation. They didn't want to transform. They were stuck in that too because of personal finances and sensual, extra. They wasn't looking about who was holding down, and they was invisible because they weren't connecting to their third eye. They didn't have that discernment. They didn't have that understanding, because that was like how you treat other people, and having that understanding about the security and that serenity, that beauty. They was too busy in that extra energies. Because now they're seeing that pressure. It's forcing that pipe. Because that Page of Wands, that's that awakening, that's that transformation. Now they're gaining high clarity because they was too excited and extravagant when they was taking extra energies. Now they're seeing you're solid, you're still standing, guilt-free. They didn't have introspection when they was indulging in struggles. They didn't see what was inside those baskets. Because now they're in that Nine of Swords, Five of Swords, Ace of Swords, big one bag of swords. Because they're looking now, they didn't have no balance, no temperaments. They're having like those devil energies because they was fearing all in their emotions because of loss and grief. Now they're gaining higher clarity that they defeated, and they're looking because they're feeling like a page about this Queen of Pentacles. They could see you as a Queen of Pentacles. They could have been looking about Queen of Pentacles. They're in Hermit, gaining this higher wisdom now because that's self-realization. That's the why, where, what, and when you was moving and how you was acting, because you're looking, they're gaining the strength. Because that's about higher clarity now in regards to this feminine. They could be gaining high clarity in regards towards you. You're speaking, you've got your intuitions, you're unable to be able to move forward. You're eccentric. They can see you're a part of that timeline. That's people got a social awareness of you. People could have been speaking bad about you, how you've got spiritual awareness and your wisdom and how you're growing. They didn't have that. They thought they was wiser because they're now looking at you because they're needing this strength. Just Chariot. They maybe want to be able to come and travel towards you now. They're in their mind thinking because they've got that higher clarity now. They're loving that all knowing. They listen to their spirit because there's Page of Cups. They're in their emotions. Now they're dreaming now. They was naive. They're looking at their inner child and the way they was above the clouds, and when they was out socializing, they was socializing with family members and friends, close enemies at the side of you. They could have been blocking you, thought they was versatile. They didn't have no moral compass. Jezebel spirits, like bad on that bad side. You're on the good side, they're on the bad side. They was being courageous, thinking that was being smart, having extra energies with your partner. They wasn't using their intuitions, they wasn't connecting, they was being stubborn, they didn't have no compassion. Take this all as it resonates when they was in that community and when they was around certain groups. That's like, you know, there wasn't thinking because there was a Page. Now they're stressed because they've got anger. And they're looking at because that's that heartbreak. They're feeling that heartbreak and pain. Because it's depression now. And that depression, you need a deep rest now. Now you want to burn things because when you start looking and you find the evidence as to what, it's clarity, the way our people was speaking, the way they was taking that action because they didn't have that inner peace, and now you've got that inner peace, your confidence. They didn't have self-worth. They weren't able to accept the bullshit that couldn't change, that they didn't have that wisdom, and they didn't look at their inner self because the way others in their ego and the choices that you made when you're having these relationships, you wasn't balancing your mind. Because you were spiritually barren. You know when you inherit that shit. They're like warlock, witches and warlocks. They didn't have that higher clarity the way how you had that higher clarity. You gained that higher wisdom. They were spiritually blocked. They didn't have that spiritual connection the way how you had that higher awareness. You got yours from the divine. They got theirs from an unknown moon. Those darker clouds. Now they're seeing they was in that avoidance stage, traveling, being a fool, and facing what you fear. For avoidance is but that temporary refuge, because that's where you was having that. Now you're neglected. You was neglecting in denial, being a fool, taking great leaps of faith, thinking, oh yeah, let's quickly go and do it. Now you're having that epiphany now, and it's igniting in your passion, because you have that realization, one eye of clarity, especially when everybody knocked you down. As we fall down, you got up. People tried to bring you down, so you was blocked, so you didn't have introspection. You was connected to the divine. You got spiritually woke. You let go of all that heartache, hurt, and pain when people are causing you confusion and illusions, because that was attachment. So you wasn't able to let go. So now they're seeing, because you got that higher clarity, you gained introspection, you grew your wings, you flew. I learned how to fly again. So you learned how to fly again. These people having that anger, now they're ricocheting with inside of them, because they're seeing all people blocked you and stopped you. Take this all as it resonates. Let's just clear this air. You're going to see our feminine energy had great willpower to be able to block you and stop you. They thought they was being courageous, because you use your intuitions, you got compassion. You was just unable to let go, nurture and love yourself and go towards that inner peace. Get your higher clarity. You knew right from wrong. RESPCT. Find out what it means to me. So they found out about what respect meant to you. They're having a social awareness of you. They was detached and deflighted from their feelings, all because their ego, all because their extra energies, and they was moving with conflict. That's because it was two-faced. Take this all as it resonates. Fake, clout chaser. They're seeing they be getting back pay. They thought they was getting back pay. They could be seeing you could be getting your back pay, because they're having depression now, because that's that inner child. You have to connect and have compassion for yourself instead of being a bit of a bitch and speaking bad about other people, and you're not realising about the stones that you're crashing, because it's unbreakable. They thought that you was unbreakable. You was breakable. They can see that pressure busting pipe, and that's that inner thought, a toughness, that's you enduring through hardships. So you've gone through certain friends, you gained introspection. You seen that higher clarity when certain people was blowing and chatting shit. You just have to laugh like, are you for real? Because you had to return to that innocence. You had to look at yourself, because that was epiphany. And then you got that higher clarity, and you're just in hermit, and you've got that introspection. You gain wisdom, because you had to have these boundaries put into place. Like, I'm not tolerating that. You ain't got no moral compass. You're not being right. You wasn't being open-minded. You seen that great enthusiasm certain family members and friends put in there, and they didn't have that moral compass to do right, to know right, because when you was growing, they was slowing. You had to see, you had that higher clarity, philosophical knowledge. You looked at it from different backgrounds, different understandings. Jupiter, you wasn't able to grow, because that's like the karmic cycles about your actions. You've got these hidden powers. Use your intuitions. Who's been in their ego? Who's trying to dominate over you? Your resources, powerful over money. Family members and friends, they're the people that are closest to you, that speak quick and fast. And that's when you have to look, when you're traveling and when you're foreign different places and people from different cultures, that higher education to be able to express. And you're looking to be able to grow, because you're like a truth seeker. So you could be looking about your mind, and that's that higher clarity to look at it from different perspectives of like when you're going through the old cycles, and that's that journey. So it's a whole year, and you have to have these boundaries in place, because it's me versus me. There's attachments. You have to get that higher clarity in regards to yourself. Now this divine feminine, masculine, they're looking, because they're looking at that, determined to be able to make that positive change, and that's that spiritual insight to be able to come towards you, to give you that clarity of balance now, because they was on that rebound, and they could have been on a rebound, me versus me. They put these boundaries in place, going on like those unbreakable, because they was in that childlike spirit. Now they're looking back towards themselves, because they're having this heartache and pain, all because they was in their ego. All because of your ego, and you wasn't thinking about the actions that you was taking, because now they're looking at that inner child. Oh gosh. All of a sudden they're feeling overwhelmed. It's triggering. stress, neck pain, because that free of souls, juveniles and that childlike spirit, they didn't have that higher clarity. Now they're gaining the things what was in the unknown. These cars are just flying left, right and centre, all very different directions to where I need them to be wanting to be able to go. That's because of their mindset towards money, and when they was in that childlike spirit and they wasn't thinking, and now they're connecting to their intuitions and their ego. That's all because of mother and father issues, because they didn't have that nurturing. And now they want to be able to protect that advantage, to be able to come towards you now. They could have been doing it and speaking like in a bad way. Now they're overwhelmed because it's unbreakable thoughts, and therefore they're looking at that adversity now. Nothing can break me. They ran. They was like a runner. So they escaped when things got hard, and they're looking at these boundaries got put into place because they're feeling guilty. Because again, in eye clarity, they was in that bad now. They didn't have respect for you. They didn't respect your boundaries. When you put these boundaries in place and you spoke in your peace, and that the way you had compassion, they didn't have that compassion towards you. Now they're having all this confusion and all these illusions because it's me versus me now. All up in my mind, because you're getting that higher clarity about the actions you talk. So they're having stress, because it's heartache when you connect to your heart, and they're reminiscing because they're missing you inside, and they're seeing your irreplaceable. They've got to surrender. They may want to be able to come towards you to be able to surrender because they're feeling very overwhelmed with these emotions. Look, I honour how I want to feel, so they're not even honouring how they want to feel. They don't even know how to control themselves. I will always trust the dedication and the direction of the universe and know joy is the ultimate creator. So they have to know joy is the ultimate creator. My outer experiences are the reflection. So they want you to know their outer experience. Let's just take 3 out of this card, because I don't know what I'm going to get, because these are long ones at the top. So this is what they're saying. Jeremiah 1:5. They was on that karmic cycle because of that devil energy. 2, they're looking. Can a man break iron? Iron from the north, or bronze? Those divine feminines, masculines, family members as well as friends. Thanksgiving and praise, that leadership, it's kingship, praise in your faith and life cannot overcome your divinely appointed judgment. The Babylonian invaders from the north, iron and your strength, protection to resilience, purification and grounding your power. Tenacity, that's your courage to be able to face those challenges. You've got that spiritual and physical cleansing. That's that goodness. It's everlasting, your word, and that of navigating those negative forces, repelling negative entities, spiritual or evil forces, divine forces on attack, back or away. They're repulsive, and they're looking at that destructful and deceitful, and that's looking at the waste because they was rebelling, and that's permanent smell or drink on their breath like a cleared changes. So they're getting gluten free because I was out socializing. They was too busy partying in that bad way, drinking. So they're looking at their self now, because that's that electrical changes and charges it's repelling over, and it's distinguished. It's resisting your unyielding will. You got a powerful, steadfast and inflexible determination to stick to a goal. Complete trust, decisions. You focus and you give that pressure, challenges, pain over projections. You just strong leader, fulfilling yourself. So they can see they're feeling guilty, those boundaries, because you're a strong leader, you're irreplaceable. It says good deeds and connections to you, which are also considered to have lasting and eternal value. You held spiritual riches, faith and good deeds, love, kindness, humility, abundance, higher power. You are a treasure in their mind, like a heaven. You're divine. You're irreplaceable. You're that source from earthly valuables. And they're looking at you now because it's that relationship with the community and its meaningful connections with family and friends, with you as a whole. That's to be able to support those divine feminines and masculines, offering support, love and care, kindness, a sense of belonging that money cannot buy. Health and well-being. They need that good physical, spiritual, mental health. You've got your invisible assets to be able to help recognize. That's that fundamental principles for fulfilling life, that stress-free, leading to that deepest, to be able to let go of any tension, wisdom and purpose. It's adhering that wisdom. Find your purpose. You're connected, connected to that peace, purity, that's that resilience, regardless of the external and material circumstances. So whether you're rich or broke, you're spiritually rich, you're spiritually rich. There was a spiritual witch. Airing the business on Facebook, it narcotics. I did say that when people air their business out in laundry, it narcotics. So you're unable to be able to speak. You just move because these Canaanites, those who turn away from you, true, they embraced adultery and immoral practice. So they embrace adultery and immoral practices with those family members and those friends, dying to make love to you. Chill, light a spliff and have a drink. So they're just chilling, lighting a spliff and having a drink. Just be balancing my work and play, exploring inner child. Balancing the work and play, exploring your inner child. They're vexed because they're seeing now these boundaries. You gonna miss me now, I'm gone. Now they're saying they're reminiscing. They're feeling vexed because they're seeing you're irreplaceable. Keeping my distance, piercing the puzzles. Got stabbed, owed money. They didn't give a shit. They put me in hospital for weeks. So they could have got stabbed. They owed people money. They didn't care. They could have owed people money in that community. They didn't have no moral compass. 9. They did bad things. Take this all as it resonates, guys. Jeremiah 20:1, because their judgment now is taking place because of their actions and their mindset, because of what they were secure and they was in that childlike spirit. Theological tense, foundations of complete trust, belies, religious belies, or more universal set of spiritual ideas, nature of reality, morality, and that's that existence of your purpose in those divine feminines, masculines, even the collective's lives. That's looking at that fidelity and that's potential for spiritual redemption. And that's looking at that interconnectedness with the divine, with yourself, getting as one of all things. That's all like the Mahat, that's on unification with the mind, body, your spirit. That's loving both masculine and your feminine energies. That's getting connected consciously with. You were created to be a joy and creative partner. Teaching grace and discipline and self-judgment, mercy and love. When you got insecurity, that's grace and faith, like Judaism, principles of standing in that special relations to you, and it's fulfilling your purpose for the collective, those divine feminines and masculines. Oneness, divine principle of one, it's unity of all things, no separation between the physical and the psychological, the spiritual. Everything originates from the same source. Morality, universal laws, spiritual frameworks, understanding your peace, interconnected of acts, and that's consciousness to be able to inherit your worth. That's looking at yourself, your ability to be able to grow. That's having that understanding, having compassion, connecting, using your intuitions, trusting that gut feeling, looking at the choices, the family members, the friends, the way how you communicate, higher wisdom, higher knowledge, how it's been perceived, and the way how you educate yourself and in them environments in your early education when you was in that childlike spirit, when you was being wise and was you playful and just being creative and joyful. Let it go, let it pass. All right, it happened to me, for me, all right, and yeah, it did make me feel upset, but at the same time, it made me grow. It made me learn about those family members and friends that there was bad man and there was wicked, and all their mindset was towards money and properties. They was just like, they didn't have no heart. Because you express your gratitude to that committee for that support, and that's that collective for listening, taking time out, sending messages, how it resonates and enables them to be able to look from yourself, and that's that spiritual eyes, and you're looking at it from your own emotional states, guys. You're looking at the application, it's positive, negative, things that lived and learned and enabled you to be able to grow, to be able to identify from goodness. There's experiences from childhood to adulthood, from their home life to when people taking the piss and causing you stress and you're thinking, oh, you've been a fool, let it go. You start growing, giving that compassion to yourself, because it's that goodness within you and the experiences. It's that source at that side of yourself to be able to foster that sense, to be able to think, and that thankfulness. It's providing you that guidance like an SOS call. It's like a village elder. You're unable to look because it's a mentor providing moral compasses for the whole collective, organizations, and that's leading, helping to be able to navigate through those movements and those movements with grace. And you go in a high ranking position of authority, of influence. You just be helping, implementing commands of rules or higher powers, and that's integrating wisdom and faithfulness in leading. That's intermediating these roles. It's that bridge between the ruler, the king, the pharaoh, the collective, emerging the resources and ensuring justice is served. They need to take accountability, a sense of accountability to divine principles. Take it all as it resonates.